Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast for today, Thursday, July 30th, 2015. I am your presenter, Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Now for the news in detail. The Nevis Disaster Management Authority today, Thursday, July 30th, convened its first meeting for 2015 at its Emergency Operating Center, EOC, at Long Point. We'll hear more in this report.
The meeting took place this morning at the Llewellyn Newton Disaster Management Facility and was attended by various committee heads here on Nevis, as well as Permanent Secretary in the Premier's Ministry, Wakely Daniel.
Our duty should be to establish priorities, identify expected levels of performance and capability requirement, and of course, to help all the government agencies here this morning and all of the stakeholders to learn their role. I do think that it is our duty, the onus is upon each and every one of us here, to help, to assist in creating a culture of preparedness throughout all of Nevis. It is critical that we do that, preparing a culture of preparedness. I trust that our meeting this morning, as Mr. Dye mentioned, will be fruitful. I trust that it will be edifying, and I trust that it will be quite informative.
Chair of the Nevis Disaster Committee is Premier the Honourable Vance Emery, who was represented by Permanent Secretary Daniel. Officer in charge of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Brian Dyer, chaired his first meeting and outlined the role of the NDMD.
The role of the Nevis Disaster Management Committee, of which you are part, is to activate communities around Nevis to deal with any type of disaster. This committee plays a pivotal role in the overall supervision of risk reduction on the island. Its functions of emergency planning, response, are divided into 5 categories, namely informing, warning, coordinating, and evaluating.
Dyer stated that every citizen should familiarize themselves with the Nevis disaster plan.
Disaster preparedness and planning are continuous exercises. It's a year-round preoccupation not only for the disaster management or its members of this committee and the emergency subcommittees, but also every citizen, government agencies, SORT members, community volunteers, faith-based groups, and private organizations alike are required to prepare their own internal disaster plans. These plans must be reviewed and tested every year. It is therefore the responsibility of every citizen to become familiar with the Nevis disaster plan, the roles and responsibility in which he or she is expected to play in the event of a disaster, so that the response may not be panic-stricken or of knee-jerk reactions.
The Nevis Disaster Committee seeks to establish practices that would ensure Nevis is ready in the event of a disaster and can respond appropriately when necessary. Reporting for the Nevis Newscast, I am Jasulacey Grant.
Chairperson for Culturama 41, Deborah Tyrrell, says future generations will honor past custodians of the island's history for their ability to leave behind something on which they too can innovate and expand. It is for that reason, she said, the Culturama Committee was taking its role seriously. Tyrrell made the statement at the opening of Culturama 41 last Thursday on the Charlestown waterfront.
And I wish to thank the persons who take the time to comment, because we, the committee, recognize it as your expression of interest in the success of the festival. We, the committee of persons who take responsibility to assist Mr. Abernathy Liebert in creating this festival, are unable to enact every idea and every suggestion that is made. And while it is our aim to, we still may not get everything right.
She described her team of volunteers responsible for executing the major activities in the July 23rd to August 4th festival as a group of dynamic, conscientious and creative individuals who cared deeply about the culture of Nevis and Culturama. She thanked the Minister of Culture, Honourable Mark Brantley, for the opportunity to work with them.
Christopher Martin sings, "It has nothing to do with money or fame. At Culturama, Nevis is on show, and whether you're an onlooker, social media commentator, or active participant, we are the big deal. So, whether it is for masquerade or the demonstration of talents in the various competitions, the art exhibition at the Charlestown Gallery, the voices of the poets in the square, your experiences at the Culturama Food Fair, or the Parade of Troops, your presence makes Culturama. And to coin a phrase, this is our time.
Tyrrell said Culturama was not about money or fame, but it was a time when Nevis and its culture was on show, and as onlookers, social media commentators, or active participants, it is a big deal. The Nevis Culturama Festival's senior pageants will officially commence later this evening, Thursday, July 30th, with the Miss Culture Swimwear pageant and the Mr. Cool contest. The contestants for the Miss Culture Swimwear contest are Shanika Joshua, Chanel Dean Lewis, Kenisha Jones, Raven Smith, and Karima Lake. The participants for the Mr. Cool contest are Romaine Mills, Richley Gums, Arundel Dorr, Delville Mills, and Jevon Romney. Meantime, the Culturama 41 Soca Monarch Finals is slated for tomorrow, Friday, July 31st, where the competition will be hosted at the Nevis Cultural Village and includes two sections, the Groovy segment and the Power segment. The order of appearance for the Soca Monarch Finals Power segment are as follows: Young J performing What's Your Definition, followed by Denny Ranks performing Jammin', I Tabulous Whining Competition, X-Man Cultural Sweetness, Miko Culturama Turn Up, Hugh J Street Jam, Fantastic Thunder Be Original, Daddy Tusty Rhythm in Them Head, and Wingy performing Emancipation Jam. For the Groovy segment, the order of appearance is as follows. First up, Ruckus singing Whining Instructions, followed by X-Men Body Talking, Jazz Drop That Sounds, Deli Ranks This One Is For You, Woodis To The Rescue, Mr. Energy Sexy To The Bone, Speedy Side Dish, and Itabulous I Am Carnival. Coming up, Department of Agriculture hosts 10th Annual Fruit Festival. Stay tuned.
Safe sex is the best sex.
No glove, no love.
Protect your pleasure.
Real men wear condoms.
It's your favorite DJ Kevy Kev saying, don't be silly, cover your willy. Oh.
This message was brought to you by the Nevis HIV/AIDS Coordinating Unit in collaboration with NTB/AIDS.
Yeah, tell me when you're ready.
Give me some space, give me some space, give me some space. Give me some room and make me mash up the place.
Culture of nice. And watch that. This is going to be the nicest culture.
Representing the beautiful island of Nevis, in this, the 10th staging of the Miss Caribbean Culture Pageant, I am Akeisha Fergus, inviting you to come on out and witness Caribbean beauties in splendor for a night filled with beauty, intelligence, and talent. The place to be for this momentous occasion is Queen City, Nevis, on August 1st and August 3rd. See you there.
Welcome back. The Department of Agriculture is extending an invitation to the public to participate in the 10th Annual Agriculture Food Festival slated for tomorrow, Friday, July 31st at the DR Walwyn Plaza in Charlestown, starting at 8 a.m. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Eric Evelyn, explained that the food festival will be hosted under the theme Strengthen the Drive Toward Food Security.
The fruit festival is really held to showcase the versatility of our locally grown fruits and the emphasis on fruits. And of course, we want persons to consume more fruits, to be more health conscious, and we believe that our objectives are being met over the years. So tomorrow, at tomorrow's event, we will be having fruits, fresh fruits, preserved fruits, dried fruits, fruit dishes, fruit wines, fruit drinks, everything fruit.
Evelyn explained that as part of the festivities, food and drinks will be on sale, but the highlights of the event are the various competitions.
We'll also be having our usual competitions, the cake competition and the ice cream competition. The cake competition once again will be in 3 categories: cheese, light fruit or plain, as well as heavy fruit. And once again, the emphasis is on the use of local fruits in your fruit cakes. And for the ice cream, the base will be coconut. Of course, we are extending a special invitation to members of the general public who are here from overseas, those who reside here, and persons who are coming over from St. Kitts.
Evelyn noted that the main road beginning at the Nevis Tourism Authority and ending at a Main Street supermarket will be blocked off to facilitate the festival, and encouraged the public to attend and participate in the food festival activities. The Culturama 41 Street Parade will this year take a different route to that of past years. Chair of the Culturama Street Parade, Rohan Az, outlined the details of the route.
We are going to begin at the High School Road, that is the Charlestown Secondary School Road, adjacent to the villa. So troops are asked to assemble in the villa, and we are going to line up on the High School Road. Then we are going to make our way through Charlestown, making a left turn onto the Samuel Hunkins Drive and subsequent right turns back onto the Samuel Hunkins Drive, where the parade would end in on-stage performances at the TDC parking lot.
Isles then explained the reason for this change.
Over the years, we have recognized that most of the patrons stay in town. And so if the patrons are in town, the thinking is that we just end the performances in town and give the patrons an opportunity to see the on-stage performances. Additionally, the revelers in the troops over the years have said that it's a journey to go back up to the complex and then have to do on-stage performances. And many are trying to get in a bit of the last of action as well. And so we have tried our best to see how best we can accommodate the patrons, the revelers, and so we're going to do our best to end the in-town activity.
He stated that there are over 100 students from the various schools on Nevis and the different fantasy and folklore troops slated to participate in the parade this year. Isles urged troop leaders to register for parade day.
It is important that you register for parade. I know some people feel it a shop for parade, and we accommodate you. We are going to accommodate you nonetheless, but it makes it easier for us if you register for parade, so we know exactly where to put you if you have preferences in terms of which band you want to revel behind.
The deadline for registration is Saturday, August 1st. According to chair for the parade, there will be 4 bands participating along with 1 hi-fi. The Cultural Street Parade is scheduled to take place on Tuesday, August 4th, starting at 1 p.m. The Ministry of Health, through 2 departments, is trying to ensure that persons remain environmentally safe and healthy during this last weekend of Culturama 41. The Health Promotion Unit and Javier Otley, an environmental health officer, this week produced a program to make Culturama patrons more aware in their consumption of food this season.
The appearance of the person. You make sure that the person is not wearing any short sleeve, any long nails, and one of the things you look for is to make sure that they frequently wash their hands. You look for aprons, you look for things like hair nets, make sure the hairs are properly restrained. You look for hand washing stations. They make sure that they continuously wash their hands, because when you're moving from one item to another, you must wash your hands. Moving from raw material to another material, you must wash your hands. One of the things that been happening right now, we have the outbreak of gastroenteritis. When looking at the conditions of the food, we look at things like the covering of the food, we look at the utensils, the equipment. You look and make sure that these things are properly cleaned. You look at the utensils that they use, make sure that they're not stored in the same water.
Otley appealed as well for vendors to use different utensils to serve the different dishes, prepared to avoid cross-contamination.
We have microbes within ourselves. Within the gut, we have E. coli. Within the throat, we have streptococcus. On this body, we have staphylococcus. Now, these are things that you don't have to remember, but just remember that these microbes are present. When you're talking about the food, that means that you will be depositing streptococcus onto the food. So now, talking over the food, you know that you're going to have the depositing of the streptococcus aureus, which is a microbe, onto the food. In the multiplication, you're going to have persons be getting sick because you talk over the food and you deposit the streptococcus over the food. Staphylococcus aureus, this is another microorganism which you do not have to remember at the same time. But these are things that are on our bodies, naturally occurring. Just like in chicken, we have salmonella, and lizards, we have salmonella, the same way. So that's why we will tell you, when you're dealing with chicken, when dealing with other stuff, that you make sure that you clean and sanitize.
The show also acknowledged the party atmosphere of the festival and urged persons not to overconsume, especially alcohol, as it would impair judgment. And that's it for tonight's edition of the Nevis Newscast. Thank you for viewing. Good night.